Good evening, future entrepreneurs. Thank you very much for meeting with me this evening. I know many of you have just got off work, dealt with family and extracurricular responsibilities. I myself have just put the shop to bed. I've done some administrative work. I've reviewed your notes, and here we are well past 11 p.m. Showing up for each other and for ourselves. So congratulations, kudos to us. I wanted to take a minute just to briefly introduce myself. I know many of you, but some of you, I understand, will just be tuning in, and this content will also be shared with a couple who cannot make it this evening. So here I am. I'm Cris Mac. I am the founder and owner of the Capelli Club. I'm also the founder and owner of Coco Armadio and Go Gal Group. So Go Gal Group is something that we are doing together right now. It's been for about the last year, where I've really organized myself as a mentor. I noticed over the last several years of my business within the Capelli Club and Coco Armadio, I'm often a resource, and questions are asked, and people are using my space to help facilitate and grow their own ventures. So Go Gal Group is a area for me to put that hat on and organize and put some structure to my courses and the sessions that I offer, and the goal is to hopefully reach more than just one person at a time. So if I can help one, maybe I can help 10, and that would be a goal accomplished for me if I can help more realize their dreams. Coco Armadio is the area where I dabble in my textiles and design, and do more custom orders and play with vintage designs. And the Capelli Club, of course, is the original baby, where we facilitate artists from an array of avenues, where they're, in be it fashion, beauty, photography. It's a studio location, a roof, where we're really able to facilitate artists. I've been in the workforce for 20 years now. I first came to Ottawa. I was 13 years of age with my mom, and we didn't really have the smoothest transition from the small town to Ottawa. So thankfully, I was a little bit taller, looked a little bit older, and I was able to land a position as a hostess at a restaurant. So I quickly learned the value of $1, and I had to win over my employer and my colleagues, and establish trust and show that I always felt I had to show I was worth my hourly. I was worth my keep. So even though I was a hostess, if there was floors that needed to be mopped, windows that needed to be wiped, tables that needed to be cleared, dishes that had to be done because the dishwasher didn't show up one day, I didn't have to be asked. I just did it. So that work ethic was instilled in me at a very young age. And then when it comes to being an entrepreneur, wanting to make something for myself and create something for myself and take on that client, I really started to count that around 16 years of age. So that would be 17 years now. I don't count the lemonade stands or babysitting. I count when I'm really, when I had to be really truly accountable, invoice, deliver a product that I promised, deal with feedback. That's when I start counting my entrepreneurial journey, not discrediting the lemonade stands or the babysitting. Again, you can learn the value of $1 there, but that's not where I count my experience. So 20 years, 17 years, that's where you got me. And then with the shop location now, where I have been, again, accountable and liable for commercial property and employees, we're now within our 7th year of solely my name. You say, like, bearing that burden. So yeah, I have a few things to share with you, and hopefully you can benefit from my knowledge and my experience. One thing I do want to mention before we get started on our journey together over these next few weeks of sessions, you're going to hear me use the term colleagues And when I refer to colleagues, I do not refer to necessarily people that I'm working with directly in my shop day to day, or employees. I am referring to a female entrepreneur across the city, across the country, next door. Women together, working together, collaborating together. We are not competitors. We are colleagues. We have the same goal. There's some really interesting research and things happening with universities and with some different organizations such as BMO Bank. And I was given the privilege of beholding this article. I don't know without we're starting with that though, but I was handed this article and I felt I was privileged to receive it. It's probably the better way to say it. Everywhere, every day, innovating. And one of the small paragraphs here, I thought I wanted to share with you. It's quite interesting. It says the result is the lack of recognition of the significant contribution that women entrepreneurs make to Canada's innovation and a lack of access to funding to increase their innovation capacity and implementation. So that we know. Women, we have a difficult time. We talk about that glass ceiling when it comes to business and corporate, the corporate world. Women do have that little extra challenge there. Of course, the article says this needs to change. But this is what's interesting. Why does this need to change? Here's the research. This needs to change as women-led businesses today represent 50% of all new business. Businesses owned by women entrepreneurs make significant contributions to the Canadian economy. Although women-led businesses tend to be smaller than men-led businesses in general, they create more jobs and have higher survival rates. One other statistic here is that 47% of these businesses are entirely or partially owned by women. Kudos to us. Way to go, girls. So here we are creating businesses that, maybe aren't always as big as men-led businesses in our basements and tech companies and one-man shows. But we are creating stores and storefronts and employing more, and we're creating these really connected businesses with people and connecting to the communities. We're kind of the masters of the small business world. So awesome! I'm so proud of us. And even though I feel I'm just this little tiny, I know a few things. I'm here to share them with you to hopefully make your life better. I don't feel really like in the grand scheme of things I'm all that important, but together we're contributing to that statistic, and that we can be proud of. So I want to share that article with you before we got going. I reviewed your questions. All of you are on the same playing field. I know all of you are kind of getting started. So here's some of the questions that I received. How do I price my work? How do I invoice my client? What do I do, or what do I put for taxes? How do I charge taxes? And do I charge taxes? Okay, good questions. We can go over that. How much you need to be making every year? How to apply for an HST number? We'll review that. How do I track my invoices, my expenses? How do I know if I'm spending too much to start? Okay, so that can be some simple little things. You probably have the tools you need already to track your invoices and your expenses, but there's some kind of handy little software tools that might make it easier for you too. What happens if I do not get enough buyers? Which this comes from the investment question earlier on. How should I invest to start? Not enough for buyers, too much, and still not enough for buyers. Okay, so I know where this question was going. Some of you are afraid, what if I'm too conservative and I don't put enough into the product that I need to actually get the job done and make a name for myself? Or what happens if I, get really excited? I'm in business and I go buy everything up and I get all the products and I get all the fancy software and I get everything and I have no business, I have no buyers. Then what do I do? Now I've just over-invested. So what they're really asking is, what's my return on investment? How do I gauge this? So I can quickly give you a little bit of advice there too, because I don't want you to go, shopping crazy between sessions. Look at what you already have. Take inventory of what you already have and what you can use. It may not be the funnest, it may not be the fanciest, but if you can get the job done, just hold on to that for right now. Okay? If you have a camera that works, good. If you have a computer that works, good. If you have a printer that can print a Word document, then you can make an invoice. So don't jump the gun. Keep, inventory of what you have. But if it comes to, let's say I know many of my mentees are makeup artists. Let's say you have a client this weekend. The weekend coming up is a huge wedding weekend for the year. So you don't want to compromise on quality. You don't want to compromise on product. So what you can do, you don't need to go buy up every color, every product for every complexion. What you could do is consult with your client, have a virtual consultation, figure out what look they're going for, what their complexion is, and then just get what you need for that specific job. That's going to help you provide the right product, the right quality to that client, but you're not going to break the bank either. How do I lease a space? Should I lease a space? What size of space should I lease? There's a lot about leasing I wish I knew when I got started, so I will happily dive into that topic. How do I hire employees? Should I hire employees? Do I need employees? Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what to look for in an employee, how long to have an employee for, such as contracts, when to get rid of an employee. And then there's some alternatives. There's contractors, there's interns. There are other options for you. Do I need a business partner? Okay, awesome question. You may, you may not. Business partners, partnerships can be tough. So you're always, it's always easier when you're on your own with a suitcase rolling around the city. But some of us have bigger dreams than that. I absolutely understand that. So we're going to kind of see with your business as you're, submitting the answers to the questions I'm giving you. We're going to kind of gauge as to where your business is going, what your goals are, and what you need to get there. We don't want you biting off more than you can chew. There's some things you just don't need to do, and you can make your life a lot simpler. I bit off a lot. I didn't need to. And we'll talk about that. So how do I brand my company? Oh, great question. Do I need a website? This is a great question. I think we're going to leave it there. I talk a bit about hired contractors and stuff later on, but I think we're going to leave it right here. So do I need a website? I believe where you want your business to go, the opportunities that having your own website can provide you are invaluable. However, with Facebook and Instagram, you can get started right away. They're free. Facebook and Instagram have, really neat opportunities, and there's been such advancement over the last few years with things like menus, the different advertising options, the marketplace. There's so much within those platforms. You probably would think you don't even need a website right now. So much of that is free. Why wouldn't you just stop this video right now and go get that done? It's free. Do it. Get it done. But when it comes to building your own website, when it comes to lead generation, when it comes to creating content, having your own hub, it's never been less expensive. When I first started, I was getting quotes for $15,000 to have a few pages, portfolio, a price list. Like, it was insane. And then I was basically left with the option to go get a book of, HTML for dummies, learn and build my own website, find a host and go from there. So I had to learn myself, and I believe we all can. If you want it, you'll figure it out. So I just figured it out and I built my first website. It was okay. And then right around that time, custom management systems were coming up, and drag and drop, and like WordPress had different platforms. And then, GoDaddy had different platforms, and Weebly, and then Wix popped up, and then Square popped up there. So all of a sudden, all these options are coming. Now everyone can have a website. So we're gonna leave it there. That's enough for tonight. It's late enough. I'm already starting to feel really, really tired. We will regroup, and we're gonna start to put some structure to our course and dive into those questions. And I'm going to aim to give you really practical, sound advice, and even some templates and the tools you need to get you going, okay? So our mission here with each other is to just cut down those roadblocks, get you confident and moving forward, and just get the job done, because half the battle is just getting it done. We tend to overthink it. We tend to kind of psych ourselves out, and it's not that complicated. It's just business. Men are doing it. We can do it. Have a good night.